And so tonight's agenda is really, in terms of is really to review a proposal for community health needs assessment. And again, for the public's sake, basically this is a process that boards of health go through periodically, usually every 2, 3, 5 years, depending, where they take a broad look at the health of the community, identify areas for improvement, and then develop plans, strategic plans for the next couple years to address those health needs. We haven't actually done that in Reading since 2015. It would have been done in 2020 because the 2015 was a 5-year plan, but then we got caught up in the pandemic. And, we've been reactive mode since then. And this is a proactive mode to actually be thinking about what we could do better as opposed to reacting to, situations. We submitted a RFP. We got back one proposal, which we discussed at our last meeting, which was actually, I think everybody felt pretty good about it. And the purpose of this meeting today, and then I'll hand it over to Aday and Allison, is really to go through that proposal, the references, have a discussion, and if we feel comfortable that we want to move ahead to invite the consultant to come for an interview process relatively shortly so we can get started. The health needs assessment process is, in this case, is in the range of 8 or 9 months between startup to final product. So it's a year-long enterprise. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Aday and kind of have you take it from there.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Lopez. Before I proceed, I would like to quickly introduce Cassidy Keegan. She is the new admin secretary for the health department, and her start date was on Monday, yesterday. And please join me in welcoming Cassidy to our department.
Welcome, Cassidy.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, guys.
Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
You have big shoes to fill.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll miss Jackie.
She's already doing awesome, so.
And Jackie will do a great job showing you the ropes. So you
Already
are
has, yeah.
you're in good hands. And welcome.
Absolutely. All right. So back to the community health needs assessment business. We asked Peer Associates LLC to provide 3 references. They provided 4, and we were only able to reach 3 out of the 4 references provided by Peer LLC. And all 3 references gave a glowing assessment of Peer LLC. And, everything, all the feedback we got was great. They highly recommended Peer LLC to our organization.
That's great news.
Yes. So I had a discussion with Allison earlier, and it looks like if the board, if there's a unanimous decision that there's no need to interview Peer Associates LLC, the board can skip the interview process and award the contract based on recommendations and the proposal. Allison, would you like to speak about that, please?
Absolutely. So you have one proposal in front of you. At the last meeting, it appeared as though everybody was pretty happy with that proposal. Their references are very good. If you wanted to have them in for an interview, I'm not sure what the deciding information of that interview would bring to the table. So most, not all, but most RFPs, we don't go through an interview process. Um, but it is up to the board, but it is not a necessary step in this process.
We talked at the last meeting about the proposal. It looked like it was very well crafted. And the example they gave of a community health needs assessment in Manchester, New Hampshire, was very well done. And as we went through the criteria, I think really all the criteria were met either as highly advantageous or advantageous. And Aday had sent to the board members the references that he alluded to. And indeed, they were all excellent. People were very satisfied with their work. So, you know, from my perspective, I'd be comfortable moving ahead without an interview if that's what other board members feel. We could always schedule one if people felt differently. It would be nice to meet them, obviously, at some point, maybe, you know, in the near future when this gets started. And I think that we also are going to need to discuss, although not necessarily tonight, you know, how the board would engage with the process over time. And so we'll have to get to that perhaps at our next meeting or later in March, but we need to deal with that. So that's sort of that's my take on it. I don't know, how do other board members feel?
I would agree. Yeah, I am comfortable. You know, I think the proposal was really excellent. And you know, based on the proposal and based on the outstanding references, it was, I am comfortable as well. And yes, I would want to move forward.
Kevin?
Yeah, I don't see any interest to hold it up. It's nice to actually get one in and it be the one you would actually want if you got 4 of them in and you had to take another one. So, you know, this is kind of a rarity. I'm sure Allison is costing what I just said all the time, where you get 4 and this one is not going to be the one. So it's a great proposal. Seems like a great company. The references were glowing. I see no reason to hold it up the process. So I'm good with it.
Okay. So
And,
go ahead.
just to build up on what Dr. Lopez mentioned earlier, Pear Associates will begin the engagement with a 90-minute kickoff meeting with the health director, the board of health members, and other designated individuals that will guide the work at a high level as an internal community assessment planning team. So they would have a 90 meeting with me, the board, probably the fire chief, police chief, and all you know, members that will be on the team. So I think that's a great way to start it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So do we need to take a formal roll call vote for this, or what do you think?
I don't require one
You don't
for it. If your board does, then you certainly may, but I don't require one for it.
Okay.
I don't have the agenda in front of me. Do we have a vote on the agenda?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Actually, but the vote is to agree to interview, and we've kind of decided not to interview. So that was what the vote is for.
I'd say the blessing of the board for Allison, probably all she needs then.
Yeah.
Great.
So now the big question is, how much do they cost?
Right.
So just so you know, not that you would ever want to, but you would never negotiate up in dollar value. We can only negotiate down. If this is outside your budget or too much money, then as I said, we can negotiate down. So what they're stating on the proposal, and I can email it to Aday and he can circulate this, is Jamie Hobeck would charge $160 an hour. And Carolyn Conlon would get $130 an hour. Their estimate is that Jamie would work approximately 212 hours, and that Caroline would work approximately 150 hours for a total fee there of $53,420. They're estimating the graphic design for final documents at $3,000. Additional costs, data access fees, survey tools, focus group incentives at $3,500. So the total fee coming to $59,920. And for the hours they represented for each of their employees, they have it broken up in 20, 30 hour brackets. So you can see more detail when I send it over to you of what they think each task is going to take each representative in hours.
So the total amount is 59,000 something, right?
Yes. Total amount I go back to right now is $59,920. So is that within your current, I don't remember what your budget is, your current budget?
Well, eh, what would it take to negotiate it down a little bit?
So, typically, it doesn't have to happen this way again, but typically, if you want to negotiate the fees or the pricing down in a project, you would typically have the town manager do that. Because that's hopefully a skill set that they possess so that they can handle that. So I think if your budget is below this but you really want to move forward with them, then I think the next steps would be Ade and I could write an email to the town manager asking for his help to negotiate the price down to whatever either A, it's within your budget, which Ade can tell me later, or B, some price the board discusses with me or Ade. But that typically the town manager does it because they're more skilled in negotiation.
Is there anything out there to supplement our budget? Such as anything
There,
loosely
Yes.
tied into COVID as a,
there are things that we can supplement the budget with, but
Okay.
yes, I would like to talk to the town manager first and then go from there.
yeah, speak with him as well too. The FinCom can also step in a little bit.
Right.
If they so choose to, is another funding source, so. But town manager will know all about that.
Yeah.
Correct. I have an idea what we can do, but I'd just like to, speak with the town manager and, go from there.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that sounds like a good idea. Mhm.
this is, I think the case is, so we want to talk it down a little bit, but we also, this does belong. I certainly see COVID, right? This is, public health function and, planning for future activities, fundamental to success for the next pandemic.
What do you mean, Carrie? We've never planned for a 100-year pandemic before in this town? Are you sure?
and I think the opportunities that came up through COVID of the ways, the established relationships, collaborating between departments and so forth. I think, those are all things that are different from what I saw in that assessment that was done in 2015. The lay of the land, as I say, has really changed, as well as the operating environment. So, that's why we wanted to pursue this, as to how much we can afford. And, I'll say in my own, as issuing RFPs, and like, you look at, are the costs assigned in the best places? So I know you'll have a great conversation with the town manager for a day, and we look forward to hearing.
Absolutely.
As I recall, that amount is substantially higher than what we budgeted. So Fidel will have his work cut out for him.
Well, he could, and the other thing to mention too is when I send you the detailed breakdown, maybe there's a part that you say, you know what? The town is going to take over these two
Right.
presentations to the town's
Right.
costs, or or another department, like you just mentioned, that you work so closely with, could have something.
Right.
So I wouldn't.
Right.
I wouldn't be downtrodden as of yet. I think there are things that we can do to make it all work.
Just out of curiosity, did this firm, were they privy to what we budgeted?
No.
No. Some people are really in favor of putting that in, and some people are more in favor of leaving it blank. I'm more in favor of leaving it blank and seeing what the market bears than putting in a budget that they may actually create
Right.
more difficulties for the firm.
Couldn't agree more, Allison, absolutely. As well as on their side of the ball, what they're doing right now is they're throwing out a number to fill us out.
Yeah. Given the size of the community and the knowledge of what public health of the margins with which public health operates, seems a little high. And Ade, it would be kind of, to follow up on Allison saying, it would be kind of like these things we absolutely have to have, or these can we figure out, a way to reduce the price through different staffing or whatever. So there's kind of a rank order of these are our musts, and these we can work with.
Correct. Or it could be a direct negotiation with the company itself. Instead of $130 an hour, it can be $100 an hour.
Exactly.
So,
right.
Again, I think the best route here will be to meet with Fidel and hash something out and go from there.
Okay, so I think that our work for tonight is done, and
Wow.
maybe we will hear a follow-up next week at our regularly scheduled meeting, or maybe not, depending how things go. And we'll kind of go from there. Any other comments or thoughts? Or yes, Ade.
So let's say I meet with Fidel and we negotiate and they accept the offer. What happens next, Allison?
Sorry, I keep putting the unmute on my name as opposed to the unmute button. What would happen next is I would write up the contract. And the contract typically goes to the vendor first, and they would sign it, and then Fidel would sign the contract. Once the contract is signed, you can put a requisition into Munis, allocate your money, and then they can start their work.
Okay. And my second question is there a need to meet next Tuesday?
That was for the interview, correct?
Correct. That was
Right.
for the
Yeah,
interview.
so I
No.
don't see it. I don't think so.
No need.
I wouldn't think so either.
Okay. All right, that's it.
All right.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Allison.
Thank you, Allison.
Thanks,
Thank
Allison.
you. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Cassidy.
Thanks, Jackie and Cassidy.
Thank you,
Welcome
Cassidy.
again.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jackie.
Motion to adjourn,
Oh,
Second.
second, roll call, Carrie,
yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Rick, yes. Good
Have
night,
a great
everybody. See you
evening,
next week.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Aday.
Thank you.